Why Not You? A deep exploration of Jim Rohn's philosophy. Jim Rohn, one of the most influential motivational speakers and personal development philosophers of the 20th century, often posed a simple but profound question: why not you? At first glance, it seems like a straightforward challenge, but when unpacked, it reveals layers of meaning that touch on self-belief, responsibility, discipline, and the power of choice. This question invites us to consider the opportunities available in life and confronts the limiting beliefs that often keep us from pursuing greatness. Instead of watching others succeed, Jim Rohn urged people to turn the spotlight inward and ask, if others can achieve extraordinary things, then why not me? The beauty of this phrase lies in its universality. It applies to business, relationships, health, wealth, personal growth, and every human pursuit. To truly understand the depth of why not you, we must explore it across several dimensions: overcoming self-doubt, embracing responsibility, cultivating discipline, creating vision, developing habits, surrounding ourselves with the right influences, and ultimately realizing that success is not reserved for a chosen few, but is accessible to anyone willing to commit to growth. The first step in answering why not you is confronting the common tendency of self-doubt. Too often, people disqualify themselves from success before they even begin. They say things like, "I'm not smart enough," "I don't have enough money," "I don't have the right connections," or "I wasn't born into the right family." These excuses become walls that block progress. But Jim Rohn believed those walls are illusions. He reminded us that countless success stories come from individuals who started with less than what we currently have. If someone with fewer resources, less education, or greater obstacles can rise to success, then what excuse do we have? Why not you is a question that cuts through the noise of excuses. It reminds us that limitations are often self-imposed, and the real obstacle is rarely the external world, but the internal voice that says, "You can't." To embrace this philosophy, one must reprogram that voice to say, if it's possible for others, then it's possible for me too. Another critical layer to Jim Rohn's philosophy is personal responsibility. When he asked, "Why not you?" he wasn't promising that success would be easy, but he was reminding us that it is possible if we take ownership of our lives. Many people wait for external circumstances to align before they take action. They wait for the right time, the right economy, the right opportunity, or someone to come and rescue them. But Rohn's challenge dismantles that passive mindset. Life doesn't owe us success. It offers us opportunities, and it's our job to seize them. By asking, "Why not you?" Rohn places responsibility squarely on the individual's shoulders. It's a call to stop blaming circumstances and start creating them. Responsibility is the foundation of empowerment, because as long as we blame external forces for our situation, we give away our power to change. When we finally accept that our lives are shaped by our choices, not by fate or luck, then the question, "Why not you?" becomes a powerful motivator to take action. Yet responsibility alone is not enough. It must be paired with discipline. Jim Rohn often said, "Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment." Everyone dreams of a better life, but only those willing to build the daily habits and disciplines required to support that dream will achieve it. The question, "Why not you?" is an invitation to stop being a dreamer and start being a doer. Success is rarely the result of one giant leap. It is built brick by brick through consistent actions. Rohn frequently emphasized that small disciplines practiced daily lead to big results over time, while neglect leads to regret. When you ask yourself, "Why not me?" the next logical step is to ask, "Am I willing to pay the price?" Because the truth is, success has a cost, whether that cost is waking up early, working harder than others, studying when you'd rather be entertained, or saying no to distractions. Discipline ensures that your actions align with your goals, And without it, the question, why not you, remains only a wish rather than a reality. Another essential dimension of Rohn's challenge is the power of vision. Success begins in the imagination before it manifests in reality. Too many people don't see themselves as capable of greatness. They can visualize others being rich, influential, or fulfilled, but they can't picture themselves in that position. The question, why not you, forces us to build a new self-image. Instead of picturing yourself as someone destined to struggle, you begin to imagine a future where you are thriving, leading, creating, and influencing. Vision expands your belief in what is possible, and once your mind accepts that vision as real, your actions begin to align with it. Jim Rohn often advised people to design their own life plan, otherwise they'd fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they had planned for you? Not much. Asking why not you is the first step in designing your own life plan, because it makes you see yourself as the main character in your story rather than a background actor in someone else's. Closely connected to vision is the role of habits. Rohn taught that success is not achieved in one grand gesture, but through small, consistent actions repeated daily. When you embrace why not you, you begin to develop habits that reflect your belief in yourself. Instead of saying, I wish I could, you start asking, what can I do today to move one step closer? Habits create momentum, and momentum creates transformation. The power of habits lies in the fact that they compound over time. Just as bad habits can quietly destroy a life, good habits can steadily build a successful one. Reading, exercising, learning, networking, saving, investing, these are all small daily acts that, when multiplied over years, can change the trajectory of your life. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't often comes down to habits. And the question, why not you, becomes fuel to sustain those habits when motivation fades. But no one succeeds entirely alone, which is why Jim Rohn famously said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Surroundings shape belief, and belief shapes action. If you are constantly around people who doubt themselves, complain about circumstances, and never dream bigger, then you begin to absorb that energy. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with ambitious, disciplined, and growth-oriented people, then their habits and beliefs will influence you in positive ways. The question, why not you, is not just about personal determination. It's also about choosing an environment that nurtures your potential. By seeking mentors, role models, and peers who are striving for excellence, you begin to normalize success. Once you see enough people achieving great things, the question shifts from, is success possible, to, when will I achieve it too? And that subtle shift in mindset makes all the difference. Of course, even with belief, discipline, vision, and the right environment, the journey will still involve failure and setbacks. This is where many people give up, convincing themselves that success is only for others. But Rohn reminded us that failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the process. The question, why not you, is just as relevant when you fail as when you begin. When faced with obstacles, instead of saying, maybe this isn't for me, you say, if others can overcome failure, then why not me too? Every successful person has failed, often many times, but what sets them apart is that they refused to let failure define them. They used failure as feedback, as a teacher, as a stepping stone toward eventual success. By internalizing this, you realize that setbacks are temporary, but giving up is permanent. Why not you becomes a reminder that resilience is part of greatness. Another key aspect of Rohn's philosophy is the ripple effect of personal growth. When you ask yourself, why not me, and commit to success, it's not just your life that changes. It's the lives of everyone around you. Your family benefits from your improved mindset. Your colleagues are inspired by your discipline. Your friends are encouraged by your example. And your community is lifted by your contributions.
Success is never an isolated event. It radiates outward. This is why Jim Rohn emphasized becoming a person of value. When you achieve success, it's not only about personal gain, it's about what you contribute to others. Why not you is not just a selfish question, it's an empowering one, because by stepping into your potential, you give others permission to do the same. Your courage becomes contagious. Ultimately, the question, why not you, is about belief in human potential. Jim Rohn believed that success is not reserved for the talented few, but is available to anyone willing to take responsibility, cultivate discipline, create vision, form habits, surround themselves with the right influences, and persist through failure. The question is a challenge, a mirror, and a spark all at once. It forces you to confront excuses,